Hello friends, this is the second video of my PC Sound Legacy PC build, and in my last video I show you some of my motherboards of the Pentium class era, and most of you recommend the Gigabyte GA5AX to me, and yeah, I can very good live with this decision and I really like this board. I have tested the board on my test bench, on my self-made wooden test bench, and yeah, it worked, so I can take it. And today I want to show you my collection of Socket 7 CPUs, and then yeah, we choose one CPU for this build. So we start with the Pentium CPUs I have. I have two of them, and these are these 100 MHz ceramic type CPUs. But I think for this build I would choose something faster, because I want to run the latest DOS games in higher resolutions, as well as Windows 9X stuff. So these CPUs, this is the same, but with a yeah, connected heatsink. And so these two CPUs will go out. So next one are these newer Intel CPUs. I haven't cleaned them, but on the back side we can see how fast they are. So this one is a 166 MHz CPU. Without MMX. And this one is a Pentium 233 MMX. So this is a powerful CPU, but I don't really like the look and feel of it. Of course, if it's built in, this doesn't matter, but yeah, I think maybe there's something more beautiful to choose. So I have three more Pentium CPUs. So this one is attached with a intercooler. This is another Pentium MMX, but with 200 MHz. Here we have another one with MMX and 233 MHz. With a heatsink but no cooling fan. And here I have an older MMX CPU with 166 MHz in the ceramic package. So next, here we are my Cyrix CPUs. This is the Cyrix 6X86 BR166, so it should be as fast as an Intel CPU with 166 MHz, but it runs at 133 MHz. It has a beautiful gold cap, and yeah, this was my first Socket 7 CPU, because I was a teenager back then with less pocket money, and so this was a good choice. I grabbed this very cheap. And yeah, I paired it with the Voodoo 1. It was a nice build. Of course, it wasn't as fast as the Intel Pentium 133, but yes, it was much cheaper and a nice CPU. I like the gold cap here. And the other one from Cyrix is the M2 300. So it's a Pentium rated 300. But it runs actually at 233 MHz. And yeah, this CPU runs at 2.9 volts, so it I think it will consume more power and will get hotter than maybe the Intel CPU, but it's quite powerful. And Phil from Phil's Computer Lab made a video on it. I will link you in the description. So here are my AMD K6 CPUs, and I really don't know that I have so many of them. We start here with my one and only AMD K6. So this is not the K6 II. It runs at 266 megahertz. And the difference between this one and this one, the K6 II, so you can see there the description is as well 266 AFR. But this is another CPU core with enhanced instruction set. So the AMD K6 II does support AMD 3D now, and the AMD K6 without 2 does not support AMD 3D now technology. So this is a little bit more modern, and it can benefit from the additional instructions in some games that support it. Otherwise, the performance should be, very similar. Here we have a line of AMD K6 II AFR CPUs, 300 megahertz, 350, 350 as well, and 400 megahertz. And last but not least, this is the K6 II 450 AFX. So this is my fastest AMD K6 II CPU. And last but not least, I have found this AMD K6 III CPU with 400 megahertz. It runs with 2.5 volts instead of 2.2 volts. Maybe because the CPU die is much larger, because it has integrated second level cache on die. I'm not sure, I think it has 256 kilobyte of cache or 128, but I think 256. So this is the fastest Socket 7 CPU I have, and I think this is competitive with the Pentium 2, or maybe Pentium 3 with 400 megahertz, as these K6 II CPUs are most in performance-wise, they are competitive with the slower Pentium 233 MMX or the slower Pentium 2 CPUs. So this is it. Please let me know in the description which CPU you would prefer in my build. I'm not sure. I think I will build in the Cyrix M2 because I like this rare CPUs or these underdog CPUs that no one cares about, and these more budget orientated CPUs. But for a retro build, in my opinion, the aim is not always to have the fastest system, but also a system that means something to you and maybe uses some interesting parts. So I think I will start with this CPU, but of course I can exchange it anytime if I need something else or want to run something else. But let me know which one you would choose. Maybe I will change my mind. I don't know. I'm not 100% today, but we will see. So this is it for today. In my next video, I show you the case and build in the case and the CPU and RAM. And then we in the further videos, we will also take a look on the graphics cards I have and decide one. And also, of course, last but not least, we will select a sound card for the system. So yes, stay tuned. I'm Ernie, and this is PC Sound Legacy.